My name is Caleb Yanez Glickman. I am the Associate Conductor of Opera Modesto, and I'm here on staff at SOI this summer as one of the conductors and coaches, working with the whole group here. So I've been involved with Opera Modesto for just over a year now. I got involved through SOI last summer in 2023. I was asked by Roy Stevens, the general director, to come in and be a part of the staff as in many different capacities, as pianist, as coach, as conductor. Through that experience, they asked me if I'd be willing to conduct on the January production of their last season, which was Sherlock Holmes and the Case of the Fallen Giant. And then I also came back in April to then work on their production of Tosca as assistant conductor with music director Ryan Murray. And ever since, we've been developing a relationship, and I'm excited to be able to come back this season. I'll be conducting Nozze di Figaro in September, and then I'll be conducting Hansel and Gretel in January as well. I got started actually on stage. My first degree is in vocal performance. I'm a singer by trade in many respects, but I don't like to tell orchestras that on first glance because they get very biased about it. But I am a singer by trade first, but I also started on piano when I was very young, and violin as well. I felt comfortable picking that up. And then I also actually picked up the flute when I was in middle school, and I still try to keep playing all of those things. Piano most especially because I use that in work for opera and coaching every day. Also run a youth orchestra where I live in Los Angeles. So I work with kids of this age very regularly when I'm back home. And so I think I got started through stage experience. I was also in a children's chorus in Los Angeles. And through that experience in choir, I was part of the group that was a filler group for whenever the operas would need a children's chorus. And so then I would jump in for the children's chorus for operas like Tosca and Otello. And then for me, the one that really opened the floodgates was the magic flute. Because there are these little spirits who sing, the little three boys that sing throughout the opera, and I was one of those roles very early, and then it was all game over after that. I couldn't do anything else. People ask me, like, oh, do you do opera conducting or do you orchestra conducting? And I think it's a really silly question because at the end of the day, it's all the same 12 notes, and you have to do orchestra conducting if you're doing opera conducting. You have to do orchestra conducting, but you just have to do it with one hand because you've got the orchestra down here and you've got the singers to deal with up here on the stage. And so I really enjoy conducting in operas, and I think it's really gratifying because it's a truly functional purpose where sometimes great conductors tend to, gesticulate, and you go, how is anybody following that? And the trick is that they might not be. And if an orchestra is good enough, any conductor in front of them is going to sound great. But at least I try to value myself as a conductor, is how you can take a group from point A to point Z, no matter who they are. And it's one of the reasons why I do a lot of work with youth orchestra down in Los Angeles. But I also feel like, especially with opera, you are holding the singers together and you're holding instrumentalists together from a real functional standpoint. And especially given the background that I've had growing up playing instruments and singing on stage, I feel like it's a good way working in opera to be a good bridge between both worlds, so to speak.